I stared at my husband across our kitchen table, my coffee cup frozen halfway to my lips, as he casually dropped the bomb that would destroy our first family vacation. He wanted to bring her ex's kids, not just my stepdaughter, all three of them. The morning sunlight streaming through our kitchen window felt suddenly harsh, exposing every crack in what I thought was our perfect plan. We'd spent months coordinating this trip to Disneyland, our first real family vacation since the kids were born. I'd color-coded spreadsheets, compared hotel prices until my eyes burned, set aside money from every paycheck. This was supposed to be about us, our little family of 5. "Sarah, just hear me out," Mark said, reaching across the table. I set my cup down harder than I meant to. Coffee sloshed onto the tablecloth I'd bought specifically because it reminded me of California poppies. "You already talked to him about this? Without asking me first?" "It's not like that. He called yesterday while you were at work. The kids are making Lily's life miserable every time she goes over there. So that's our problem now?" My voice came out sharper than I intended, but I couldn't stop it. 8 years of marriage, 8 years of bending over backward to accommodate his ex-wife and her complicated family situation, and now this. Mark's jaw tightened. "Their children, Sarah. Lily bragged about Disneyland. Now Jake and Emma are jealous. They're taking it out on her every visit." Let me get this straight. I stood up, needing to move, to do something with the energy crackling through my body. Because your ex-wife's daughter said something bratty to her ex-stepkids, we're supposed to completely change our family vacation? Their father would pay for everything. Separate hotel room, their own tickets, food, all of it. I laughed, but there was no humor in it. "Oh, well then that makes it totally fine. We'll just become unpaid babysitters for 2 teenagers we barely know on our first family vacation." "You know them, Sarah. They're at every birthday party, every school event." Knowing them at a birthday party for 2 hours is different from spending 5 days at Disneyland with them. I grabbed my coffee cup and walked to the sink, dumping the rest down the drain. The waste bothered me, but I couldn't drink it now. My stomach was churning. Mark followed me. "What happened to the woman who always said family was about more than blood?" That stopped me. I gripped the edge of the sink, feeling the cool ceramic under my palms, trying to ground myself. "Don't do that. Don't twist my words to manipulate me into this." "I'm not manipulating anyone. I'm trying to find a solution to a real problem that's affecting Lily." I turned to face him. "And what about our kids? What about Emma and Tyler? This was supposed to be special for them too. Now they'll have to share their parents' attention with 2 teenagers they don't even know that well. They see each other at school all the time. Seeing someone in the hallway isn't the same as sharing a vacation, Mark, and you know it." I pushed past him and headed toward the living room. I needed space, air, something. Our 6-year-old son Tyler was sprawling on the floor with his toy cars, making elaborate crashing sounds. He looked up when I entered. "Mommy, how many more days until Disneyland?" The knife twisted deeper. "Still a lot of days, honey. Keep counting them off on your calendar." "I can't wait. Do you think I'll get to meet Lightning McQueen?" "Maybe, baby, maybe." Mark appeared in the doorway. "Sarah, can we finish this conversation?" "Not now." I gestured toward Tyler, who'd gone back to his cars but was clearly listening. "Fine, later then." He grabbed his keys from the hook by the door. "I'm going to the hardware store. Need anything?" "Space," I muttered, but he was already gone. I sank onto the couch, and Tyler immediately climbed up next to me, showing me his favorite red car. I made the appropriate, interested sounds, but my mind was elsewhere. How had this happened? How had our carefully planned family trip turned into a diplomatic mission for Mark's ex-wife's blended family drama? My phone buzzed. A text from Mark's ex, Jennifer. We'd maintained a cordial relationship over the years, mostly for the kids' sake, but we weren't friends. We'd never be friends. The message read, "Mark told me you're considering it. Thank you so much for being understanding. The kids would be so grateful." My hands shook as I stared at the screen. He'd already made it sound like a done deal, like my opinion was just a formality to get through. I typed back quickly. Nothing's decided yet. 3 dots appeared immediately, then disappeared, then appeared again. Finally, of course, but it would mean so much to Jake and Emma. Lily's been rubbing it in their faces. That sparked something in me. Then maybe Lily needs to learn about being considerate. This is a parenting issue, not a vacation planning issue. The dots appeared and disappeared several times before she finally responded. You don't understand what it's like. They feel left out. And my kids will feel invaded, I shot back. Why is your kids' comfort more important than mine? This time, the response was immediate. Wow, I thought you were more mature than this. I nearly threw my phone across the room. Instead, I turned it face down on the couch cushion and focused on Tyler, who was now building an elaborate ramp for his cars using couch pillows. The front door opened 20 minutes later. Mark wasn't carrying any hardware store bags. That was fast, I said, my tone flat. I didn't actually go. I drove around the block a few times. He sat down in the armchair across from me, his hands clasped between his knees. Sarah, I need you to really think about this. Oh, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about how you told Jennifer I was considering it before we even finished our conversation. His face flushed. She texted you? She did. Thanked me for being understanding. Funny, since I never said I was. I didn't tell her you agreed. I said we were discussing it. That's the same thing to her, Mark, and you know it. I stood up, too agitated to sit still. Tyler had gotten bored and wandered off to his room. You've already made me the bad guy. If I say no now, I'm the mean stepmom who ruins everything. That's not fair. None of this is fair. My voice rose despite my best efforts to stay calm. We've been planning this trip for 2 years. 2 years, Mark. Waiting until Tyler was old enough, saving money, coordinating schedules. And now, weeks before we leave, you want to fundamentally change the entire trip? It wouldn't be that different. Are you serious right now? I grabbed my phone and pulled up my meticulously organized trip notes. We have restaurant reservations for 5 people. Hotel rooms booked for 5 people. Our budget accounts for 5 people. We planned activities specifically for our kids' age ranges. Jake is 13 and Emma is 12. They're not going to want to do the same things as a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old. We'd figure it out. No, Mark. I'd figure it out. Because you know what would happen? You'd be there physically, but I'd be the one managing logistics, mediating conflicts, making sure everyone's happy. That's what always happens. He stood up too, his face reddening. That's not true. Really? Who organized this entire trip? Who made the spreadsheets, compared prices, booked everything, created the daily itinerary? You like doing that stuff. I do it because someone has to, and it's never going to be you. The words came out harsher than I meant, but they'd been building for years. And now you want to double my workload and call it a family vacation? Jennifer said she'd help with planning. I actually laughed at that. Oh, perfect. So now I get to coordinate with your ex-wife about our family vacation. That sounds like a dream come true. You're being unreasonable. I'm being unreasonable? My voice climbed higher. I'm being unreasonable because I want our first family vacation to actually be about our family? They are family, Sarah. Whether you like it or not, those kids are part of our extended family. Extended family doesn't get invited on nuclear family vacations, Mark. That's literally the difference between the two terms. He ran his hands through his hair, frustrated. I can't believe you're being this selfish. That word hit me like a slap. Selfish? I'm selfish? Yes, you're putting your comfort above children's feelings. I'm putting my children's needs first. That's called being a mother. Jake and Emma are just kids too. They're not my kids. The words exploded out of me, filling the space between us with an ugly truth I'd never said out loud before. They're not my responsibility, Mark. They have 2 parents who can deal with their hurt feelings. I have 2 children who deserve a vacation that's actually about them. The silence that followed was deafening. Mark stared at me like I'd grown a second head. I can't believe you just said that, he said quietly. Well, I did, and I meant it. My heart was pounding, but I didn't take it back. I've spent 8 years bending over backward to be the understanding stepmom, to accommodate Jennifer's complicated feelings, to make sure Lily feels included in everything. But this is where I draw the line. This vacation is for our family, our immediate family, the 5 of us. So that's it? Your way or no way? When it comes to this, yes. He grabbed his keys again. I need to get out of here before I say something I'll regret. Too late, I called after him, but he was already slamming the door. I stood in the middle of our living room, shaking. My phone buzzed again. Another text from Jennifer. Mark says you're being difficult about this. These are children we're talking about. My fingers flew across the keyboard. These are my children we're talking about. An our family vacation. Find another solution. Her response came immediately. You're incredibly selfish. I always knew you resented my kids. I don't resent your kids. I resent you trying to hijack my family vacation. Our daughter is your family. Lily is invited. She's always been invited. It's Jake and Emma who aren't coming. So, you're going? To punish them because their dad and I broke up? I wanted to scream. Instead, I typed carefully. I'm not punishing anyone. I'm protecting my own children's experience. There's a difference. Mark deserves better than this. I blocked her number. I should have done it years ago. When Mark came home 3 hours later, I was in our bedroom reorganizing my closet because I needed something to do with my hands. He stood in the doorway. Jennifer says you blocked her. Jennifer needs to understand boundaries. She was just trying to advocate for the kids. She was trying to guilt me into something I don't want to do. I turned to face him. Mark, be honest with me. Do you actually want those kids to come with us, or is this just about keeping Jennifer happy? He hesitated too long. That's what I thought, I said. It's not that simple, Sarah. Actually, it is. Either you want this to be about our family, or you want it to be about managing Jennifer's feelings. You can't have both. Why do I have to choose? Because they're mutually exclusive. I sat down on the edge of our bed. I've been thinking about this all afternoon, really thinking about it. And I realized something. This isn't actually about the vacation at all. He crossed his arms. What is it about then? It's about the fact that 8 years into our marriage, you still prioritize Jennifer's opinion over mine. That's not true. Isn't it? You talked to her ex before you talked to me. You made it sound like a done deal before getting my input. And when I objected, you called me selfish. I didn't mean it like that. How did you mean it then? He sat down on the bed next to me, but there was still distance between us. I just thought you'd be more understanding. You always have been before. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe I've been too understanding for too long. I looked at him directly. I need you to hear me, really hear me. If those kids come on this trip, I'm not going. His eyes widened. You can't be serious. I'm completely serious. I will cancel my ticket, stay home, and you can take all 5 kids to Disneyland yourself. See how you like managing that chaos alone. Sarah, come on. I'm not joking, Mark. This is my line in the sand. Either this trip is what we originally planned, or you're on your own. You'd really abandon our kids like that? Don't you dare put this on me. I'm not the one trying to change everything. You are. I stood up, needing to move again. And honestly, if you can't see why this is so important to me, maybe we have bigger problems than just this vacation. That hung in the air between us, heavy and ominous. Are you saying what I think you're saying? His voice was quiet. I'm saying that I'm tired, Mark. I'm tired of always being the flexible one, the understanding one, the one who puts everyone else's needs first. I planned this vacation for us, for our family, and I'll be damned if I'm going to let Jennifer turn it into another obligation. Those kids didn't ask for any of this. Neither did mine, I was shouting now. Emma and Tyler didn't ask to share their first Disneyland trip with teenagers they barely know. Lily didn't ask for her step-siblings to make her life miserable. None of this is their fault, but they're the ones who'll suffer if we do this. How would they suffer? Because instead of having their parents' full attention, which they deserve on their first big vacation, they'll be competing with two jealous teenagers for every moment. Because every activity will have to be negotiated and compromised. Because I'll be stressed and resentful the entire time, trying to manage everyone's expectations. I was crying now, hot tears of frustration running down my face. Is that really the vacation you want? Because it's not the one I do. Mark looked at me for a long moment. I need to think about this. You do that. I'll be in the guest room. I grabbed my pillow and left before he could respond. That night, lying alone in the guest bed, I pulled up the Disneyland reservation on my phone. The confirmation email stared back at me, full of promise and excitement. A family vacation, our first real one, and it was all falling apart. My phone buzzed. A text from Mark. Can we talk? Not tonight, I responded. Tomorrow then? Sure. But tomorrow came and went without resolution. So did the day after that. We existed in a Cold War, barely speaking except about logistics for the kids. Tyler kept asking when Daddy would sleep in Mommy's room again. I didn't have an answer. A week after our fight, I was loading the dishwasher when Emma, our 8-year-old daughter, came into the kitchen. She climbed onto a stool at the counter and watched me work. Mommy, are we still going to Disneyland? My hands stilled on a plate. What makes you ask that? You and Daddy have been fighting. Tyler says it's because of the vacation. I dried my hands and sat down next to her. We're not fighting about the vacation, honey. We're figuring some things out. But are we still going? I looked at my daughter's worried face and felt something crack inside me. Yes, baby, we're still going. Just us? Like we planned? I don't know yet. She picked at a spot on the counter. I don't want Jake and Emma to come. That surprised me. Why not? Because then it won't be special anymore. It'll just be like school, except at Disneyland. She looked up at me with serious eyes. And Daddy won't pay attention to us because he'll be making sure they're having fun. Out of the mouths of babes. Have you told Daddy that? She shook her head. He seems sad already. I don't want to make him sadder. I pulled her into a hug. Oh, sweetheart, it's not your job to manage Daddy's feelings. That's between grown-ups. But you're both sad because of this. Sometimes grown-ups disagree about things. It doesn't mean we don't love each other or you. Promise? Promise. After I tucked her into bed that night, I found Mark in the living room, staring at his laptop. The Disneyland website was pulled up on the screen. Emma talked to me today, I said. He looked up. About the vacation. She doesn't want Jake and Emma to come either. His face fell. She said that? She did. She said it won't feel special anymore, and she's worried you won't pay attention to her and Tyler. He closed the laptop. I didn't think about it from their perspective. I tried to tell you. I know. He rubbed his face with both hands. God, Sarah, what a mess. I sat down across from him. So what do we do? I told Jennifer no this morning. My heart skipped. You did? I did. She wasn't happy about it. Called me a lot of names, actually. But you were right. This vacation is supposed to be about our family, our immediate family. And I was so caught up in trying to fix everyone else's problems that I forgot what matters most. Relief washed over me, so intense I felt lightheaded. Mark, I'm sorry I was so harsh. No, you needed to be. I wasn't listening. He moved to sit next to me on the couch. I think part of me still feels guilty about how things ended with Jennifer. Like I owe her something. But you're my wife. You're my priority. You and our kids. I lost sight of that. She's not going to make this easy. I know. She's already texting me about how I'm disappointing the kids. But that's her problem to deal with, not ours. I leaned against him, feeling the tension of the past week drain out of my body. Thank you. I'm sorry it took me so long to see it. He kissed the top of my head.
So, Disneyland. Just the 5 of us, like we planned. Like we planned, I echoed. The next few weeks were rocky. Jennifer's texts became increasingly hostile. She showed up at our house once, demanding to talk to Mark about his selfishness. I answered the door and told her to leave or I'd call the police. She left, but not before telling me I was poisoning Mark against his daughter. Lily was caught in the middle, asking her dad why everyone was fighting. Mark sat her down and explained, age-appropriately, that sometimes adults disagree about plans, but it wasn't her fault and everyone still loved her. Jake and Emma, the ex's other kids, apparently stopped talking to Lily at school. Jennifer sent Mark screenshots of Jake crying about not getting to go to Disneyland. Mark showed them to me, his face troubled. "Do you feel guilty?" I asked. "A little," he admitted, "but not enough to change my mind." The day finally came. We loaded up the car for our drive to the airport, Tyler bouncing with excitement, Emma clutching her new Mickey Mouse ears, Lily talking nonstop about which rides she wanted to go on first. Mark and I exchanged smiles over the kids' heads. At the airport, my phone buzzed one last time. Jennifer had found a way to text me from, "I hope you're happy," ruining children's lives. I deleted it without responding and turned off my phone. For the next 5 days, I wasn't going to be Jennifer's target. I was going to be a mom on vacation with her family. And that's exactly what happened. We spent 5 glorious days at Disneyland. We rode every ride the kids wanted, ate overpriced theme park food, stayed up too late watching the fireworks. Tyler met Lightning McQueen and cried happy tears. Emma conquered her fear of roller coasters. Lily bonded with her half-siblings in a way she never had before, without the competition and jealousy of her other stepkids. Mark and I held hands while walking through the park, stealing kisses when the kids weren't looking. On the last night, after we'd put all 3 kids to bed in our adjoining hotel rooms, we sat on our balcony overlooking the park. "Thank you," Mark said quietly. "For what?" "For standing your ground, for knowing what we needed even when I didn't." I almost gave in, I admitted. So many times over the past few weeks, I thought maybe I was being selfish. Maybe I should just suck it up. "But you didn't." But I didn't. He squeezed my hand. "We're going to deal with fallout when we get home. You know, Jennifer's not going to let this go." "Let her try. I'm done being afraid of her tantrums." "That's my girl." We sat in comfortable silence, watching the distant glow of the park lights. Inside, I could hear Tyler's soft snoring through the open balcony door. This was what I'd fought for. This peace, this togetherness, this memory we'd created, just the 5 of us. When we got home, there were angry messages waiting. Jennifer had left voicemails, sent emails, even contacted some of our mutual friends to complain about how we'd excluded her children. Mark handled most of it, finally telling her firmly that if she couldn't respect our boundaries, we'd need to reconsider the co-parenting arrangement. That got her attention. The hostility didn't disappear overnight, but it became more manageable. She realized, I think, that she'd pushed too far and risked losing access to Lily if she kept it up. Our kids still talked about the trip months later. Emma made a scrapbook. Tyler slept with his souvenir Mickey Mouse every night. Lily wrote an essay about it for school that made Mark cry when he read it. And Mark, he started seeing a therapist to work through his guilt about his past relationship and his tendency to prioritize Jennifer's emotions over our family's needs. It wasn't an overnight fix, but it was progress. As for me, I learned something important. Setting boundaries isn't selfish. Protecting your family's peace isn't cruel. And sometimes the most loving thing you can do is say no. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Was I wrong to refuse to bring my husband's ex-wife's other children on our family vacation, even though it meant those kids felt left out?